Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, Wootini over at GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. This week I wanted to do a special episode, because last week came the news that Konami announced they were canceling Silent Hills, which made me sad because I was looking forward to a new Silent Hill game because I love the series, and I've kind of been with it through most of its ups and downs. And I wanted to, look back and reminisce about the glory of Silent Hill and also the not-so-glorious parts. I remember playing the very first Silent Hill, and I remember renting it from a Blockbuster, because I didn't own it. I rented it from Blockbuster because I remember having to play it quickly before I had to return it. So I remember playing it really late at night, in the dark, and being really scared in the underground sewer part, and just being terrified and jumping constantly, and it was really fun. Because I enjoyed Resident Evil, but that was more of an action adventure and not really scary. But Silent Hill, it just had, the soundtrack and the disturbing visuals, and it's just so unsettling and just wrong, and it was just really unsettling and creepy, and exactly what I want from, that to me was survival horror. Resident Evil wasn't survival horror, exactly. So, Silent Hill is fantastic, and in fact, last October, there was a sale on the PlayStation Network, and I know I mentioned this in my podcast at the time, but they had a sale, and I did pick up the PS1 classic of Silent Hill to play. I played it on my Vita to, in the Halloween mood at the end of October. I didn't want to blow it up on my PlayStation 3 on the TV because I felt like seeing those graphics on my big screen TV might not be the best thing in the world to do. But on the Vita screen, it maintained. It's, they're rough. It's a PS1 game. But, the actual gameplay and the story and the soundtrack, it all holds up. And it's such a good game. I don't really remember much about Silent Hill 2. I know I played it, and I know I liked it, but I don't have a copy of it anymore, so I don't know what happened to that. I might have borrowed it or rented it, I don't know. But I know I played it, and I know I liked it. And I know some people consider that to be the highlight of the series, but I actually think that Silent Hill 3, this is my highlight. This is my favorite in the entire series. I don't know, I guess because I just liked Heather better as a lead character, I got behind her, and I really liked her. I'm really sad that, the plastic is, flaking off, and I tried to, I thought I'll just replace the case, but I can't because it's a special case with 2 discs, because it comes with the game and the soundtrack, because the soundtracks to these games are fantastic, at least the earlier ones. But I remember being so disappointed because the first Silent Hill movie, I recommend if you're a fan of Silent Hill, because it's really faithful to the game, and it really captures the feel of the game, and it's terrific. And I was so excited when they announced they were going to make a sequel to it, because it was based kind of on Silent Hill 3, my favorite, and the girl they cast as Heather looked perfect, and they had her in the right costume, and everything just looked great, and then it was in 3D, which is awesome, because I love 3D, and I got so excited, and then I went and saw it. So anyway, then came Silent Hill 4, The Room, and I was initially excited by it. I liked the whole idea of having that first-person perspective in the apartment. It becomes much more immersive, to do it in first person. It's always more immersive. But the whole thing with, your room would become corrupted, and then just getting too near to it would drain your health, and then it was hard because you had to go and do certain things, but then it would be draining your health at the time, and it was just, I felt like they didn't really think they didn't really plan that out well enough, and it got a little frustrating. But what killed that game for me was somewhere around the halfway point, or the 2/3 of the way through. I don't remember exactly because it was years ago, and my memory is terrible. But, like, after some kind of mini-boss fight, you then have to work your way back through all the areas that you've just traveled through again in reverse order. Like, so you basically just have to backtrack through everything you just did. And I'm just like, ugh. And that just got super frustrating for me. And I'm just like, this is not working. And I just completely lost interest, and I never finished it, which was sad. But I was slightly more happy with Silent Hill Origins on the PSP. I was excited just because, you know, it's a PSP game, and it was a good PSP game, I thought. But, like, being able to play Silent Hill on the go was really cool for me. I really enjoyed that. And it was a return to, like, the classic gameplay of the original Silent Hill, so I actually thought Origins was good. I mean, it's not like it's the best story or anything, but after being so disappointed by The Room, 4 was actually a nice return to traditional Silent Hill gameplay. I also have the Silent Hill Experience for the PSP, which is a UMD that features, like, digital comics. They're like animated digital comics that tell stories from these comic books that they made of Silent Hill. They're not that great, they're okay, but, you know, it also has, like, you know, video from the games and like, soundtrack clips and stuff, and it's actually, I think, the only UMD video that I ever bought for my PSP. Like, I never bought any games on UMD, but that is, like, the only one that I ever had. Then came Silent Hill Homecoming, which I looked for, but I guess I don't have anymore, so I must have traded that in, because I did not like that. It was really upsetting. Silent Hill Homecoming was, like, super disappointing to me, even more so than Silent Hill 4 The Room, because Homecoming just, it was way too combat heavy, and it frustrated me to no end, because it was starting to turn into a Resident Evil game. And I don't like the Resident Evils. And the Resident Evil series went way combat heavy. Like, and it just became an action game with monsters. So I wanted the Silent Hill creepy, scary, disturbing universe, and I was really disappointed that, like, it got really combat heavy, and I just got frustrated, and there was, like, some enemy that I couldn't get through a certain area because it was just so hard, and I was like, why is this so hard? You suck. So that was really upsetting to me. And then I remember one year, this is years ago, of course, because I haven't been to E3 in years, but at E3, I had an appointment with Konami, and one of the things that I played was Silent Hill Shattered Memories on the Wii. And the demo that I played on the show floor, the headphones, I got so engrossed in it, and the headphones were keeping out the chaos of the E3 show floor, and I got so... and then my friends' coworkers showed up, and they were like, come on, we have to go, and I was like, don't touch me, Silent Hill Shattered Memories was very interesting, because after hating the combat of Homecoming, Shattered Memories was very interesting, because there is no combat in Shattered Memories. You literally just run. You explore the creepy town, and it's great, and instead of ashes, this one's all ice, which was a nice, interesting change of pace. But, like, when you go into the alternate Silent Hill universe, it's all icy, and there's these creatures that just chase you, and you literally just run for your life, and you try to find your way out of the maze-like area and escape. And I thought that was a really interesting, you know, gameplay concept, and I thought it really worked, especially for something like Silent Hill, and you just get all panic-stricken, and you're like, ah! And I also like the fact that in the framing sequences, you are interviewing with a psychiatrist, and based on how you answer his questions, it actually affects the gameplay. Like, it changes and tweaks certain little things so that if you admit to being scared by certain things, those will show up. And, like, I forget the specifics, but it was a more psychological Silent Hill game, and I really enjoyed that because, again, it's getting back to the psychological horror of the disturbing Silent Hill imagery and storylines, as opposed to just running around shooting everything in sight. So imagine my disappointment when, a couple years later, whatever, they had Silent Hill Downpour, which I remember also demoing at the Konami booth at E3, and so it probably was like 2 years later or whatever, and it was terrible. Because first of all, it was also in 3D, and the guy was like, "Oh, here, try this." And I put on the glasses, and I'm in this like kitchen, and it's all on fire, but it was not working, and everything was all double images, and I'm just like, I love 3D, but this 3D is not working. The images aren't blending. And he's like, "What? No, it's fine." And I was like, "No, look at it." And he was like, "Oh yeah, that's broken. Here, let me put you on the 2D TV." And I went, "Thank you." But then I didn't really care for it. It was not great. So I actually never played Downpour, like, officially. I never bought the game, because the demo that I played did not impress me, and it made me feel like we'd gone back to Homecoming, and I wasn't interested in it. And I'm pretty sure Downpour was not considered a highlight of the series. And I would love to go and get the HD remix of 1 and 2, except for the fact that I seem to recall when that came out, there was some kind of a problem with it. There's something was wrong with it, and everybody got really annoyed, so I never actually picked it up. I forget what the problem with it was. But it's okay, because I can get the PS1 Classic version. Now, if only it would let me play Silent Hill 2 on my Vita or my PS3, that'd be great. And this then leads us all up to the present day and Silent Hills, which, you know, of course, as with any game announcement, I'm automatically wary of it, and I'm cautiously excited. Then they announced that Guillermo del Toro is involved with it, which I'm like, that's pretty awesome. And if you can get somebody of his caliber to help influence the storyline, that's, like, awesome. They also announced that Norman Reedus was going to be, like, the lead character in the game, and it was going to be his likeness and his performance, and that got me concerned, because then I'm like, I would prefer you announce a game and you get people excited about the storyline, the graphics, some kind of gameplay element, something like that, that's unique and different and gets people excited. By telling me that a certain celebrity likeness is going to be in this game, and they're going to be voice acting the character, I don't care. It could be anybody. Honestly, I sometimes prefer it when it's not a celebrity voice actor, because that can be distracting. And I'd rather have, like, a professional voice actor who can do the different voices and be a chameleon and give the right kind of performance, and not distract from the game or the animated movie by saying, "Oh, that's so-and-so." So, while I am disappointed that we are not going to get Silent Hills, I'm also not, obviously, they didn't even, like, really get anywhere with the development, so it's not like we had something and it was taken away from us. It was just an idea. So it's hard to get really upset about it, because there wasn't really anything to get excited about. And there could be another Silent Hill game at some point. I'm not going to hold my breath, because I don't think that's going to happen, but I am sad that I don't have a PS4 and I wasn't able to play the PT demo, because it looked interesting and fascinating, and maybe one day one of my friends with a PS4, I'll go over and play it on their PS4. But maybe one day we'll get another Silent Hill game. Until then, I still have my PS2. I could just pop Silent Hill 3 back, and I do have the original Silent Hill on my Vita. Although, you know what? I'm kind of tempted to replay Shattered Memories. I don't know why. But right now, I'm just feeling like I could go for this. I don't know why. But I'm gonna miss Silent Hill. But it's okay because we still had the classic games, and I can watch the original movie and listen to the soundtrack, and those haunting, lilting notes will always take me back to those fog-drenched streets and what's that shuffling sound in the distance. Oh my god, I don't want to open that door. What's behind it? That's a good game. Thank you for letting me talk your ear off and reminisce about Silent Hill. Share your favorite Silent Hill memories in the comments on gaygamer.net or on YouTube. And if Downpour is worth playing, let me know. I don't think it is, but tell me I'm wrong. And I will see you back here next week, and I'll have more games to talk about. See you then. Bye.